Well, hey everyone, it's Barry's Best Honey. I'm Mike and I do bees. Welcome back to Southeast Louisiana. It is Friday the 13th. That's right, folks. Welcome back here to Southeast Louisiana. Did not do a video last week. Apologies. Don't know when this one's actually going to get out. Not a lot going on. Not messing with the bees. Working in the honey house tonight. And that's what we're going to do. Going to also look at that little apame really quick. Quick check on that tray in there. But other than that, it's time to do the tedious menial tasks that we do in the wintertime. I've got a bunch of boxes that still need scraping out. I've got the rest of the wax, the burr comb that needs to be in cutout stuff and all that needs to be melted. It did not finish in the solar wax melter. I ran out of time before we had cool weather. Got to get inventory kind of put together. I'm gonna get my shop all cleaned out of all the bee equipment. Try and get most of it in that that van that I got there. That's got to be done. Gonna be melting some wax in here. I'll start that here pretty soon, but I'm not gonna do that tonight. Got to still clean my equipment. All that kind of stuff that's got to be done, really. Of course, the most important thing is getting these colonies all went through and weighed. I gotta pick them up in the back and just check them. I'll do that soon. Don't want no starvations. Don't want that. And you know, with the cool weather we've had and the little freezes here and there and everything, we should be about brooded down to where OAV is in the cards. Anyhow, got to get busy. Talk more about some of that later. And got to start doing some menial tasks. This is a vlog, folks, not a how-to video. This is a how I do video. It is what it is. It's me just checking in with you guys, showing you where I'm at during this time of year. I talked with Mr. Ed today. He's in the same boat, just kind of hanging out. We have a removal that we wanted to do. A repeat of a place we've already been, but I just ran out of time. So just have not had time to get to that. We're going to try and shoot for a January removal on that. And then we'll go from there. So lots of menial tasks to do. Things like that. Got a big shipment of boxes coming in. Some lids. Got a big shipment of frames sitting at the Abbey. So got a lot to get put away, inventory, figured out, and planned out for next season. So let's go in here and we'll get started on some stuff before, you know, it gets dark on me while I'm trying to shoot an intro. Let's check this out. Uh-oh, we got some moisture in here. And I see one dead beetle. Diatomaceous earth. That's the only problem with it is it gets wet. So I need to replace it. This is all good. There's another dead beetle. Not too many. This is that little colony that had a whole bunch of beetles in it. But where's that moisture coming from? That's the question. We did have a heavy rain, but it shouldn't have leaked in there. So it appears the landing board, I need to level this hive body up. That's the issue. I've got it I got it cocked back this way, so all the water is hitting this landing board. Bees aren't flying right now, it's cooled off, but it's hitting this landing board and going in. Oh, there they come, they heard me. I got this entrance closed, but I'm guessing water got in there. Yep, well, it didn't kill many beetles with the diatomaceous earth, but it was worth a shot, right? They probably got them corralled up. They're not going down into the bottom. They've also propolized the screen on the bottom. That particular colony does not like a screen bottom. And I'm actually, outside of the other apame I'm gonna buy and any future ones, as far as my wooden colonies, I'm almost completely getting out of the screen bottom business. I'm done with screen bottoms personally. I didn't see a real benefit to them. They are good for, you know, I got them for mites. That's what people get them for. Also to track sticky boards, things like that. But I don't have a need for that, so I want to get away from them. Just use solids. Solids work fine. But in that case, I was hoping the beetles would get pushed down. But when I did look in there, most of that screen bottom was already kind of propolized. They had closed up almost all of it, except for just a little spot in the center. So yeah, I've got that thing leaning now that I look at it. and that's where all the water was in that corner. And we had major rain. We had close to 5 inches of rain in like a 3-day period of time. It was crazy. So the lesson learned, back to basics. I always say, got to be able to tie everything back to basics. The basics are, when you learn about setting up colonies, always, even if there's screen bottoms, lean them forward. I didn't do that on that one. I got so used to screen bottoms, I didn't worry about it, because screen bottoms, I don't run any, oil traps or any trays in the bottom. So I didn't care how I placed in the water. Any water that came in on the entrance board immediately went down into the screen. Well, it did the same thing on that, except I got a pan under there full of diatomaceous earth. So I need to change that out. And I'm going to do that in just a second. But put some fresh in there. All right, so I got a fresh load of this, which they're really not going down in here. I saw 2 dead beetles. That was it. And there were many more in there. Of course, we killed a lot. Oh, I didn't say that. Anyway, we dispatched quite a few. But they're probably clustering up the beetles somewhere and holding them at bay. I hope they are anyway. You notice on the one side, on this side of it, when we had pulled it out, I'll show a screenshot of the other one. There was wax on this side. That's where that big honey frame is. So they're eating through their honey. And as I weigh them, they still got some weight, but they need more. I'm going to feed these. I unclipped it because I wanted to look in here. What's cool, you can literally feel the warmth in here. There's some warmth. There's the bees. They're in the top. They're crawling around on both sides. So I think I'm going to probably put some 2-to-1 in here. We got a week of warm weather coming up. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put some 2-to-1 in here. And it really would pay to straighten this thing up. Of course, if I didn't have diatomaceous earth in there, the water would have just ran out the little cracks and the crevices on the sides, the vents on the sides. It wouldn't have been an issue. But the DE sucked it up. So it's kind of leaning to where it's this way and the water's going in underneath that. It's hitting that landing board. So got to fix that. But we didn't catch many beetles, and they probably need some feed. I could throw some fondant in there too, no problem. I don't know. Probably just throw them some 2-to-1. Time of year to be keeping an eye on stores for sure. This one here, it was pretty heavy. Oh, yeah, it's still plenty heavy. I can stick my ear to them. Buzzing. Need to get some oxalic acid vapor in them. It's getting to where we've had some good freezes. They're not really good freezes, good frosts. We've had several good frosts. We've been below freezing a few times in a row each morning, so that's good. That should slow the brood production down. So it's time to get some OAE on them, or OAV, oxalic acid vapor. We'll be doing that this evening. Will be awesome. It's perfect temp. The bees are all home. 1 or 2 are out flying here and there. They'll come back, but it'll be a perfect evening. But I don't have the time. It'll be dark here really soon. So I got to go do some other things. We'll go do some other things. Well, folks, I am in the honey house. It's time to clean this equipment up. Remember, not a how-to, because this stuff should have been cleaned 3 months ago. I just put it off. I had time. I put it off. I was doing stuff, and I knew I wasn't extracting any more honey. Well, I probably should have cleaned it, and I didn't. Anyway, I'm busy putting stuff away right now, as you can see. I just went and did we have a local distributor that does all this glass, all our glass containers and plastic, a case of that plastic. And then I got these in today from beekeepers.com. Beekeepers.com is where I'm buying my other containers at the expo. They got a lot of containers to choose from. So I picked those up from them. Plus I picked these up from our local distributor. Those are 1-pound bottles. Got my extractor back that was borrowed. This is my Max N. I'm going to go over this a little bit when I get ready to take my other one apart. And some other items that came back. Got some honey to put away. So a lot of people ask me about this honey house. They always ask me the size. It is 12 by 30. And if I ever did it again, I always tell people, go wider. I am too narrow in this place. That's the biggest issue. So, doesn't have a drain, so I'm gonna show you how I wash everything down. So, this is under my sink. I'm gonna turn this up. That didn't be about 135 is fine. I keep it at 120. I got a hose here with a nozzle. Get a plastic nozzle. This thing gets hot. I have it plumbed in such a way, it's on the way to the faucet. I've got a spigot, hose bib, whatever you want to call it, faucet. And I can turn this on and get myself some hot water to keep equipment clean. I don't have a floor drain, so I really don't worry about the hot water and the wax mixing. A lot of times it's better just to have cool water coming out of there to wash with if there's a lot of wax. But with how I'm going to do it, you'll see it really doesn't matter. So I use hot water and soap and I wash everything down. I'm going to show you how easy that extractor comes apart. I'm going to show you my Maxent. This is a Maxent uncapping tank. It's not a Hilco. John Hill was not around when I started buying a lot of my equipment. So I have a Maxent uncapping tank. The difference, this holds less frames because it has this basket. This basket tends to be, I don't know, I can get about a dozen mediums done, and then this thing has to be emptied. And it's where Hilco's has the screen on the bottom, so that makes it nice. Although Hilco's won't hold as much honey, but how hard is that to drain into a bucket? This one, on the other hand, I can hold a lot more honey, but the problem is I run out of room for my wax, and I don't have as many spaces for frames. So we got to get this thing cleaned out. First thing I need to do is just get some water in it. You can see I've got crystallized honey, wax, everything else laid up in there. So we're going to have to clean all that out. Should have cleaned it sooner, but I didn't. So now I'm doing it. That's why it's not a how-to. Get everything wet. Let it soak down for a little bit. While it's soaking, I'm going to take apart my extractor. So I'll let that soak while I show you this extractor. So like I said, I would have built this thing wider. People ask me about it all the time, and I say build it wider. This was supposed to be climate controlled storage, so it wasn't designed to be extracting honey in here. Otherwise, I probably would have put a ramp to get stuff in, maybe some floor drains, things like that, and a terrazzo type floor over it. But honey production for me is, I'm not planning on going a lot bigger. I'll have more honey if I have more hives, but that'll just be a byproduct of what I'm trying to do. I'd rather raise bees more than honey. I still want honey, don't get me wrong. I have a clientele and we sell quite a bit. But like Russell Koopman asked me before, and others have asked me, where do you sell all that honey? This year was a great crop, but even a 2,000 to 3,000 pound harvest, that can be considered an average. I can move it because we have markets year round. It doesn't get that cold here. I'm going to market tomorrow. Next week it's supposed to be 32. We'll still have a market. We sell at the market regularly. And just to give you an idea, that bucket stack on the left, that's what I've sold since that's, I guess, 3 months of sales. And I'm going to have to fill my bottler again after tonight. I'm all bottled for tomorrow, but I got a gallon order for Monday, a gallon and a quart order for Monday. So it goes faster than a person would think. With our current clientele, I still have to have a good amount of honey, but my main focus isn't going to be trying to grow bigger if that's what I choose to do in order to make more honey. It's going to be to grow bigger, maybe to move more bees. So let's walk over to the Maxent, and this is a fine extractor. It holds 6 frames. This is the older one with the motor that you have to actually turn the knob to advance it to where you want it. All right, and it's got the switch. But it holds 9 or 3 deeps. The deeps are held tangentially, and the mediums are held radially, or you could put 3 mediums with them, or you can put a combination of 9 if you get all 3, and with mediums. You can do 9 mediums. It's just a combination of whatever, but in the end, it was getting too small. But it's been a good one. But I got the Hilco, and wow, the Hilco is night and day as far as quality and in the motor and the drivetrain part. The quality's below or about the same, except for, of course, the Hilco has the slanted bottom instead of just this cone. This thing holds 2 inches of honey and won't drain anymore unless you flip it on its side. But as far as strength inside, it's all, you know, it's as strong. Both of them are strong, but here's where the difference becomes for me, and I'm gonna show you. In order to get this, I like to take the baskets out once I get them cleaned on the inside, take them out and clean the rest of the tank. To get this one out, it's got this Lovejoy coupling right here. And I have to take, of course, this, and this will have to come off. Then this comes off, and I have to unplug it. Just unplug it. All right, now the controller box is out the way. But then I have to take the motor loose to get the Lovejoy apart. If I want to take the basket out, I could take these two sides, which is really no different than Hilco. You take them out, but now the problem is the whole thing comes out with the motor. I can't get the basket loose from this rail. And now the whole rail has to come with it all, the motor and everything. So if I'm outside hosing this thing down or somewhere hosing it down, I want my motor off, I've got to take now, these two got to come out. So I got to take an additional two out to pull this off. So then you got to really get the Lovejoy, really, see how it's got that gap? This actually isn't right. It's got to come up. See? It's got to come up. So it's got to be adjusted in. It's just a pain. To be honest with you, it's just a pain. Because it really should be tight. So, a decent extractor, but so loud. But it runs fine. In the newer motors, you can actually freewheel the basket when you load them. But taking it apart, all those little nuts and bolts, there's like 3 washers on each one. They're tiny, they're small. Let me show you what I like about Hilco, besides the fact that this has the sloped bottom. So the sloped bottom comes down to the front. It's higher and back, and it's conical. So everything drains to the front. You can see, well, you may not can see, but there's a little bit of honey left in there. Nothing was in the back. It all came out. I still have the nylon reel, have no problems with it. Haven't anyway. And I'm not worried because of the warranty on this thing. It's 10 years this way, 4 years that way. Basically, motor and gearbox and all, and a controller is 4-year warranty. This below is a 10-year warranty. If the reel does have problems, I get it replaced. It, like the Maxent, has a ball bearing fitting down in the bottom, but this one can be greased from the bottom. It has a grease fitting. There you go. Now let me show you how easy it is. This is what I really like about this one and taking it apart. His newer ones are even easier. I saw them at the show, but for this older one, it's really just 2 tools. So his new ones have thumb knobs. I want to convert this to thumb knobs to where all you do, you don't even need a wrench anymore. You just basically turn the thumb knob on top and it comes out. So this one comes off. No pesky washers or anything like that. I'd say I put them on a little too tight. Take this side off. Easy peasy. This needs to come off. Got to wash that. And here's the beauty of this extractor, is it literally just lifts right off. The coupling is so simple. Let me see if I can do this without dropping it. You can see the simplicity of that coupling. It's really just like almost a shear pin stuck in there. That's been one of the things I've liked the most about this, is I pull this unit off as one big hole. Don't have to worry about water or anything like that. I can wash the reel and everything. And the reel literally just lifts right out. Okay, so very easy. I leave the reel in while I'm initially washing to clean it off, and then I take it outside and rinse it with a hose. But I'm gonna show you how I do it without a drain here in just a minute. So I've actually cleaned the reel off pretty well. So here's how I take care of the water. I don't have a drain, so I use a bucket. I just simply drain it into the bucket. That's all my old honey and propolis and stuff coming out. I'll drain it in there, go out and throw it in the woods behind the shed. And that's what I'll do the whole evening. I'll just wash and I'll drain in the bucket. And I'll get to the point where I'm really just washing it and rinsing a little bit, and one bucket's enough. I initially have to take the first bucket off, and then I'll probably dump a second bucket. And that's it. All right, so let's show you, I'm from the top here. Let's show you how this conical design works with the back sloped from high in the back down to the front to get all your honey out. You can see the crystallized honey down in here. it's still, I got to get in there and mix it up, but it all went to the front. And I'm going to show you, you can see with the water how well this thing drains. But let's look down in here close. And I'm going to open the gate. I want you to watch the debris and how it flows. See it? It just immediately goes to the front. Okay, in case you're wondering why all that honey is at the front and why it's not drained out, well, that's all the honey that came down off the sides and everything when I finally shut down for the season. Shut that gate for the last time and then just left it for the last couple months. That's all the honey that ran off the sides, whatever residual honey was there, and ran down and drained to the front. And then it crystallized. So that's what it's doing there. That's one of the big keys to the Hilco extractors. Now, you know, I like my Hilco extractor. I like my Hilco equipment. So John hasn't asked me to make a video, hasn't asked me to do a review. This is all on my own. You guys know I do this every year because I really like my 18 frame extractor. So a lot of you might be saying, well, Mike, why not let the bees clean it out? I just never have. That's the prime robbing season. When I'm done, it's a lot of trouble to get this thing in and out. I still have to wash it down. I could do it outside, sure, but it's just as easy. This way I do it at my convenience. And this year my convenience was way late. So here's something I want to bring to your attention. Maxent did this. It's done on, okay, so I've got this, look at that valve. That propolis will never come out of there because it's below the valve. The valve is up above by at least 1/4 of an inch. Probably more like a 1/2 inch above the bottom. That's how Maxent built their stuff for the longest time. Of course, I got plastic. You pay thousands for their equipment, you know, for a couple pieces of equipment, and you get plastic valves. Apparently, they do stainless steel now, and they started. Same with that extractor. It's the same way. It's got almost an inch from the bottom of the cone to that valve. Even if you took the valve out, there's no getting it out. I'll take a rag and get all that out, and I'll dry that up once I get everything washed up. But that's just a problem. I do know Maxent has tried to improve on some of their stuff, and they've actually begun to address their customers now. Answer the phone, call them back, things like that. Now, they weren't always bad with customer service. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is they're addressing the need now because there's competition out there. And with competition, it forces everybody to quit. You know, you don't have to depend on just 2 different companies that are being mediocre. And even with everything, woodenware, everything, there's other companies now that are coming on the scene. We'll see them all at the expo. Other companies stepped in and said, okay, if you're not going to do it, we will. And you know what that does? It drives quality a lot of times. Well, everyone, I think I'm done. I have got this cleaned and dried. But the big thing with both of these pieces is trying to get them to dry. So I have those big old towels. Those are older towels I keep around. So we got it all cleaned up, nice and shiny. Clean, ready for the next year. Put the lid on that. We got our extractor nice and shiny and clean and just ready to roll. Should have been done a couple months ago, but that's okay. Oh, in the next video, maybe the next one, I'm not sure, we're going to be breaking out this thing. This is my Maxent wax melter, another item that we'll be using here pretty soon. We've got all of this has got to be melted. Those 2 small totes there, that large tote, that 30-gallon drum, and that 5-gallon bucket are all full to the top. Like I had to pack them and spread it all out the last little bit I had. So we got to get all that wax melted because this is our clear wax here and back in there and down the bottom down there. These are my 2 brood comb waxes, but the clean wax, that's what I use for my candles and stuff. So we don't want to run out. We gotta get busy getting this stuff melted down. Alrighty, folks, with all that, I'm gonna call it a night. I've been in here cleaning up, getting the whole honey house kind of picked up and swept up and cleaned up. So got that done. And want to take y'all along on a vlog, show you where I'm at. That way you understand what's going on down here in Southeast Louisiana with Barry's Best Honey. All right, guys, well, look, I'm gonna let you go. I appreciate you guys watching. Hey, it won't be long. Meeting a lot of y'all up at the expo. Looking forward to that. But again, I appreciate y'all watching. It's Barry's Best Honey. I'm Mike, and I do bees. But today, no, we're just cleaning up. Y'all have a wonderful, wonderful week, and may God bless you. We'll see y'all later.